Hey guys, Zom Fox here, and today it is time to do another coaching video this season because yes, for like the fourth time I'm having to do like a video like this regarding head coaches, offensive coordinators, DCs, or whatever, because two head coaches have one of them has stepped away from the team fully and the other one has taken a leave of absence. Now, before any of you go in the comments try to act smart about how this is the doom and gloom of the league, let it be known that one of these is confirmed health related and the other one, while not confirmed, Larson has insinuated, and so have a lot of people, that it's also health related. So don't try and act smart because you're just going to end up acting dumb. These are two coaches leaving because of, one confirmed and one assumed health issues. Ken Whisenhunt of the Showboats is fully stepping down as head coach, and Wade Phillips is taking a leave of absence. So let's go on to Ken Whisenhunt first, talk about him. Now, Ken Whisenhunt is officially stepping down as a head coach of the Showboats. Now, originally I just did a community post on this. Why? Because I wasn't planning on making a video today. Of course, if you saw my community post yesterday, I was on Spring into Football this week. If you haven't seen that episode yet, you can go to the community tab and check out that link, as well as another video which I'll be appearing in, which is supposed to come out like around Friday-ish, as long as everything happens, as well as having uploaded like 6 videos last week. I was going to take this week's weekly video off, but I couldn't because we got 2 news. Now, the Whisenhunt stepping down, to the surprise of nobody, the interim is going to be Jim Turner, who was the interim, of course, in week 1. For those of you who have literally just joined the channel last 2 weeks or have just followed the UFL 2 weeks ago, Ken Whisenhunt initially stepped away from the team for personal reasons, assumed health-related issues, came back after week 1, and now is gone and is fully stepping down. He put in a press release, you can go see that one, where he basically talked about how it seems like he might even be just stepping away from football entirely at this point. So he's gone. Now, as for the Showboats and what they are now, they are an offensively lacking team. Yardage per game, they're not one of the bottom 3, which are the worst 3 teams in the league in terms of yardage, but they're still the worst of those 5 teams that are putting up more than 250 a game. Third down percentage, they're in that bottom 3 with the Stallions and Brahmas, in that god-awful under 36% mark. Turnover differential is where they really suck. Look, part of the problem is the defense is playing great defense despite not getting turnovers, but them not getting turnovers and the offense being as turnover prone as you can imagine, they're at -8. So, dead last in that. And this, despite all this, they have the 3 losing record teams actually have the best point differential, even better than the team that just beat them in the Houston Roughnecks. So if you're a Showboats fan, man, this hurts because the offense has looked better week to week to week. Of course, going from Jim Turner to Ken Whisenhunt in week 2 to then Ken Whisenhunt again. So now it's a bit more skeptical of what this team is going to look like. Is this offense going to keep improving, or is it going to get worse? We'll see. It sucks to see Ken go, but again, it's not confirmed, but it is inferred that it is health-related in regards to why he's leaving. Again, him and Wade Phillips are both really up there in age, been coaching a long time, so that's the Showboats. Now, the Brahmas are going to talk about a bit more with, of course, Wade Phillips stepping away, taking a leave of absence. Now, for those of you who don't know, in week 1, of course, he was in the booth, then week 2 was on the sideline, then week 3, he was not even at the game because of an illness. And then, of course, Peyton Pardee ended up stepping up as the team's interim head coach. Now, there's some people theorizing that A.J. Smith basically got told that he was not going to get the head coaching job or interim, and that's why he left. Again, initial reports was that he was clashing with Wade. So, who knows to deal with that? But Peyton Pardee, of course, not only took over as OC, but took over as head coach for that game, and it was actually the best game for the Brahmas, but Wade Phillips wasn't there, and he's going to continue to not be there. Again, will he come back? We'll see. I think everybody kind of agrees that this is probably Wade's last year of coaching in general. He's really up there in age, and I feel like it's starting to really hit him being that old and all that. You know, never say never, but it just, a lot of people have that feeling that this is kind of the last ride of Wade Phillips. So I wouldn't honestly be shocked if he returns just to finish this season and then step away. And that kind of brings us to Peyton Pardee and the Brahmas. They looked a lot better with Peyton Pardee and not A.J. Smith, and I guess without Wade Phillips. The defense this season has been bad all year, and this was still the best it looked overall, which isn't saying a ton, but is still saying something. So, credit there. But the offense, look, yes, not all those points of the offense, there was a pick 6, but they still put up more than 10 points, which they hadn't been able to do all season. Kellen Mond had his best performance of the season, 19 of 31, 153. Not an insane number, but 1 TD, no interceptions, 60 completion percentage. He had a solid game, one of the better games for him, and of course, without quarterbacks been playing this season, that's a solid stat line. Now, yards per game, they are the highest of those bottom 3 teams in yards per game. Again, they are worst in terms of third down percentage. They have the most points allowed on defense, but they looked a lot better in this game. Now, of course, Peyton Pardee, because, you know, we live in a small world of spring football, is the grandson of former Houston Gamblers coach Jack Pardee, fun fact. So, we love seeing the kind of stuff in spring football kind of wrap around to each other. USFL wrapping around to the UFL, you gotta love it. But as with Brahmas, I'm honestly not too upset about this move if I'm a Brahmas fan. Even though it sucks to see Wade go, the fact is this team, the best they've looked this season, and hell, if you date back to the championship game last year, was against the Panthers. They nearly pulled it off, even though, yes, it was assisted by that awful pick six Perkins threw. They still nearly pulled it off and looked the best they have all season. I'm not saying that I'm going to pick them to beat DC, but I will say don't be shocked if they pull up the upset over DC. The fact is this team looks really solid, and they look to be poised to potentially have that Renegades of 2024 kind of season where they start off really poorly, get like one win early in the season, then look really good in the second half of the season, but still miss the playoffs because of that awful start. We'll see about that, but that's the Brahmas, of course, without Wade Phillips, him taking a leave of absence. So that's pretty much it. This has been Zomfox. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell to be notified as I upload any videos again. I wasn't planning on making a video today, but I kind of had to with having not one but two head coaches step away again, one fully and one for a couple weeks, for a week, maybe the season. We'll find out later, obviously. Other things to note is that from what it seems like with Larson, it's possible a couple other Defenders coaches might leave during this season. Of course, the whole DC staff, we all know they're all bailing at the end of the season because of the Tennessee State job with Reggie Barlow. Of course, they're going to get paid a lot more money. That's part of the league isn't just for players to go to the NFL. It's for coaches that want to keep coaching at a higher level, get another shot. So that could happen again. If that happens, don't act like it's a big deal. They're doing what they kind of have to. The fact they're even staying is very commendable in some regards, some would argue. So don't be shocked if that happens. But as for any other coaches and all that, again, each one is basically its own. But so far, in terms of all the coaches that have left, really none of them signal anything bad for the UFL, with the only one being really AJ Smith. And that seems more of a, he may have been upset about how things were being handled with him becoming a head coach. Or it was, clashing with Wade, and it just so happened that, two things kind of happened at the same time. You never know for sure unless you are, a fly on the wall in the building with what happens. But don't try and act like this is doom and gloom for the league. Again, you have two very old coaches dealing with illnesses and problems. Like, don't be that guy, but I mean, is anyone really shocked at that? It sucks to see. Prayers for both of them. Hope they both get better if it is true that Whisenhunt is dealing with something. But that pretty much does it. Again, make sure you tune in to that Spring Into Football episode that was, at a community post out. Be on the lookout for the 2 streams this weekend, as well as another video that I will be in, which I'll post a community post on that one. And as always, guys, have a great night.